welcome to It's a thing. We are back with another amazing topic. Thank you for being part of this adulting series that we have been gladfully enjoying every part of it. But today, okay, let's say you got the interview, you got the job, but now what? What is next? Like in every time you look at a house or at your apartment, it's just a shell. There's no furniture, there's nothing. It belongs, like it's another house. But once you get there, you start decorating and putting nice stuff around, and you're making it yours. Well, the same thing happens with our job. If you have an office job, or if you're a teacher, or it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, that place is your second home. You're going to spend a lot of time there. A lot of people are going to look at your space. You're going to get a lot of clients or students, or so you have to feel comfortable about your job. And that's why Evelyn, I think she's more the expert in this area. And we're going to let her kind of share her wisdom through this topic, what she does. And remember, if you want to take paper and pen and write all this down, it would be great. But if not, like always, we got your back in Instagram. We will be posting all these tips and tricks that Evelyn's going to share with us about what to do and how to arrange your workspace.
This is literally, it's so important that your workspace is clean and neat and it's personalized, because this is where you spend the majority of your time. So I don't know about you guys, I'm a teacher, kind of background context. I've said it before in other episodes, but if you're new, yes, I'm a teacher. And so we tend to our classroom is literally our second home. So we tend to bring a whole bunch of stuff in, and it can get a little difficult sometimes. Yeah, not sometimes, but all the time. And so it's very important. And whether you're just graduating college and you have a job and you're starting your new job in this new workspace, or maybe you've been in this job for like 20 years or whatever, and you're like, man, I really need a refresher. I feel I lost motivation to work. Let these tips serve as your motivation to continue and maybe change up a couple things in your workspace. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And so I'm going to start right away.
Yes, go for it.
I have a lot to say. And like Janet said, if you have paper and pencil, make sure to write these down. Or if you're listening to this on your way to your work or whatever, like Janet said, it'll be on Instagram. But I have my big list here of things that I want to share. So I have my notebook ready. Number one, be smart. That means be strategic with your workspace. So organize. I have here it can be literally cute. You can make it aesthetic, whatever, but be intentional with how you organize and put things around. So I put make sure you have labels, make sure you have desk drawers to organize your things. Use your space wisely. So maybe your work area doesn't have a lot of drawers, but you can put shelves up, or you can put things up on a bulletin. And this is also I want to mention that I have a classroom, so I have obviously more space, but I'm going to try to give tips as well for people that maybe just have a small cubicle.
Oh, lucky you. You are blessed.
Yeah. So I don't know, what kind of workspace do you have, Janet?
Well, my workspace is very different as yours. So I had the best of both worlds. So I initially started this job as a print shop coordinator. So that means I had a super huge space, because obviously there was a lot of machinery there, and there was my my area, but it was an open space. So I was able to do so many things, like rearrange the side where the machines are, but also arrange my side. So I was very comfortable. But then I got a new position with the communication department, and that meant sharing an office. So my space is very, very limited. Plus, I'm going to comment in some of your notes that I saw. And that's so awesome because we get to give two different perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
And many of the things that you have, I am not able to do. And the reason I say this is because I share an office with another person that is not only a coworker, but he's a guy, which changes things so much. It's another level of things. But my desk is very small. I
Mhm.
have a bigger desk at home. so it's very hard to arrange things, but I find ways to make it my personal space. And maybe we could also add in your notes, Evelyn, um, something that I'm very OCD about and I like to keep in order is my desktop and the things and files within my
Oh, yes.
computer. And
Yes.
so that makes me have a better workflow
Mhm.
than having it a mess and a
Yeah,
bunch of tabs open and a bunch of, files on the desktop. And so that also could impact your work
yeah,
life, So just to add
definitely.
it. Mhm.
I also share a workspace, well, my classroom. So last year I
Yeah.
had like a big classroom. I'm actually currently working in like 2 different spaces right now, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
2 different schools. So I have a huge classroom, but then in the other, school, I only have like a corner
Mhm.
basically of a
Yeah, yeah,
classroom.
yeah.
And so, like, trying to make that work is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a whole
Mhm.
different dilemma.
Yeah.
But yeah, being smart with how you organize your things. There's so many like computer stands that you can
Okay.
actually put, so that gives you space on the bottom,
Yes.
and as well as like having those, those called, like multiple plugins, like an extension
Oh,
cord that
yeah, an extension cord, yeah.
yeah, I also added here like some of my recommendations would be like the Alex drawers. I love the Alex drawers from IKEA. If you haven't checked those out,
Oh,
there's like
yeah.
multiple. There's like the ones that are super long and the
Mhm.
ones that are like shorter. And yeah, that's what I use. I have one here at my office area as well. And
Mhm.
so again, like for me, like hanging shelves adds a lot, or having like those command strips, whatever that you need to do to
Yeah.
make sure that you're using every little corner, every little space in your area.
Mhm. Yeah.
Let's go on to number 2. I feel like that was very self-explanatory, but I did want to give that like recommendation there.
Mhm.
Number 2 is personalize, my favorite. Make it yours.
Yeah, make it
Make it
yours.
nice,
Mhm.
aesthetic. Bring in pictures from home. Like there's a lot of ways that you can do that. There's a little what are those called? The Polaroid pictures that you
Oh, yeah.
can have and like hang.
Mhm.
Choose, maybe some people like, for me, for example, I like to choose like a color palette or like a theme. If it's black and white, it's black and white, but something that like makes you feel like this is my area, that distinguishes between the two. I feel like a lot of times that helps like make you feel a little bit more comfortable,
Mhm.
especially if it's a new work area. So if it's a new job and you have like, oh, like you're a little scared because you don't really, know the job yet, you're not very
Mhm.
comfortable with where you're at. Just making it very homey and cozy would also help. A lot of people like plants, and like even like that greenery brightens up the area as well,
Mhm.
or like having some things monogrammed, or those kinds of things. They're very small things I feel like you can do, but it is important to personalize it and like just make sure that you're comfortable. If you like if you don't really like personalizing things, but at least like bring in, I don't know, like a blanket or something from home, where
Mhm.
you feel like, oh, that's my desk, that's my
Yeah.
chair.
Mhm.
I don't know, do you do anything to kind of help personalize your area?
Uh, like I said, I try, but I don't have much space
Mhm,
to make a lot. Literally, my desk is very small, and so I have my laptop and my monitor. So that takes even more space. So
mhm,
basically, my office is full, full of. Well, my desk is full of two screens, and so I have my water bottle
mhm.
that I need to always have,
Yeah.
here. I have a work water bottle and a home water bottle. So they're two different ones. So that takes a little bit more space. I also have my stand charger that is also a charging
Mhm.
pad kind of stuff. There, my headphones and my body spray and my lotion. That
Yeah.
that
And I
need to always be there.
And that's good, like, so you're already personalizing it, you
Yeah.
already, like, have your little area of,
Mhm.
like, "These are my things," obviously, and
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, even there's some people that, like, put around their computer screen that they put, like, those Polaroid pictures or, like, they print
Mhm.
very small pictures or, like, kinda make it so that it feels like you're comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Number 3 is kind of similar, and this is for people that maybe have a bigger area, like a bigger work area, but I think you can still do it with a smaller area. And this is like having a little de-stress corner, or maybe like a little de-stress area where you can like where it's full of your favorite things and you can just kind of like woof, relax. And so I put here
Mhm.
like some people I know I've seen some teachers have a little coffee corner with like a little coffee cart. And so maybe like if you have a desk, or like a cubicle.
Mhm.
Some people put it like below their desk or like a little coffee cart, which some people do coffee, but if you don't drink coffee, you can have like, a little mini fridge with like your favorite drink or like flavored water, little packets,
Yeah.
snacks, stuff like that, but just like your way to like de-stress. Aromatherapy diffuser, if you have, space for that on your desk, like put it in a little corner or something. Studies have actually shown that it does help you de-stress a little bit. A lot of teachers put it in their classrooms to help the kids kind of relax and mellow down a bit, and that
Mhm.
also helps. Also having, like, a mood board. I don't know if you, Janet, have, like, space on a wall or something or, like, can claim
Mhm.
a little, like, corner of the wall for your boyfriend.
Mhm.
And you can put, like, a little like, have a little mood board of, like, what is your why for this job? So, um or having what have I seen? Some, like, pictures, like, framed, like a picture frame type
Mhm.
of things with quotes, with motivational quotes.
Yeah.
Um, I put, like, always having a blanket, a book. I use a pillow to, like, sit on it, and that's
Mhm.
not because my chair is hard or anything, but that's literally because it just I don't know why, like, it makes me feel a little bit more at home where I can have just a pillow. So
Okay.
as small as, like, a pillow or a blanket, maybe you just, like, hang your blanket in your chair or something.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
makes you feel a bit more comfortable, maybe more at ease. Maybe, like, you can de-stress a little bit.
Mhm.
Again, I have to emphasize the book. Me, like, I hardly ever get a lunch break, honestly, because I have a million things to do, but one of my goals has been to just read during my lunch break, even if it's for, like, 10 minutes or less, but
Okay.
keep read.
Mhm.
And that's, like, also helped a lot. So, do you have any, Janet, that
Well, for
like
me, I would never sacrifice my lunchtime, cause cause my lunchtime is my distressor.
mm,
Me and a couple of coworkers, we actually have at our office we have a cafeteria. So, and we have like a whole kitchen all the way, and we have a fridge where we leave our stuff. We could, buy groceries and leave it all week there, and
mhm,
so whenever we eat, we could eat at any time that we want.
mhm.
But we like to eat together because we're social beings and butterflies. so,
Yeah.
so that moment where everybody takes out their lunch and starts, like talking to each other and joking around and eating and seeing what you brought and did you cook this? How did you cook it? And so it's just my time just to like my break to relax
Yeah.
and to just enjoy it and just not think about work, but just have a relationship connection and it's just a really
Mhm.
good time. I like I said, I share an office, so obviously I am very careful when it comes to scents because
Yeah.
I'm very respectful to other people. I am a
Mhm.
fanatic of perfumes and good smells. And so but I think my personality is so big in respect. And so I could love perfumes a lot, but I am not gonna intrude in a space when I'm sharing the space with someone else. And so I try to keep things, like very low, very mellow,
Mhm.
because I'm sharing an office. And but I still fulfill that sense of smell with my lotions or in my body spray, and I'm happy with that, because
Yeah.
it stays within me. It's difficult to share an office with somebody because you have different um, likes and taste, and you have to be considerate of the other person, and the other person has to be considerate of you, and it's like, yeah, cohabitating in an office
Yeah.
basically. And so there's a lot of things that I miss out in, but maybe someday I could able to do, whenever I have my own office. But
Mhm.
like I said, not everything is bad. I am very appreciative because the person I work with is a really good partner. He helps me a lot. We whenever we're in the middle of a lot of stress, or we vent with each other, we start
That's
talking,
nice.
and it's nice to have
Mhm.
somebody there that, that whenever you feel like, kind of, because my job could be very lonely. And so when you have
Mm.
somebody there, you could actually talk and say this,
Yeah.
that, and that. So it's very nice. But I think the way I personalize, like I said, is within my computer,
Mm.
because my I we have laptops, and those laptops go with us everywhere we go.
Yeah.
There are like our amazing tool, because as I said before, we travel a lot.
Mhm.
And so our workspace moves a lot. We're not
Yeah.
stuck in one, but through our computer, I think, yeah, I bought like a special cover, like like a different color than a typical just computer. And so that's the
Mhm.
way I personalize my workspace, through the wallpaper that I use in my computer, through how
Mhm.
my icons are set up, through how I organize my files and my things to be easier to find, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I
Mhm.
do. So if you have a small space, here I am. Just remember me, because
Mhm.
I share a space with somebody else, and sometimes you can't have that flexibility as other people may have. So if you do, you are very blessed. What you were saying about, Evelyn, about your relax station, we don't have
Mhm.
that, because obviously our office is very small. Plus, we have a lot of drawers, but they're full of equipment,
Mm.
of cameras, of cables.
Mhm.
And so it's like we don't have even a space to put stuff. But I just want to say, as I work in an office, with a lot of offices around, we do have a section in the conference where there is coffee, chocolate,
Yeah.
tea, anything you want. You go there, and every Thursday they do popcorn for all of us.
Ooh.
So you go there for your popcorn, and you put like whatever you want in your popcorn.
Wow.
So we have sections where we do get to relax, and just to,
Yeah.
get outside the box. And so it's not
Yeah.
in my office, but it is within the office.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I
Mhm.
was gonna say, whether you work from home or not, these things are super applicable as well
That's true.
because there's especially if like if you're in an apartment, maybe part of the amenities is like having a whole new like desk area or like a work area, if that makes any sense, where
Mhm.
and I know a lot of apartments do this as well, where they have like a place where you can go out and like relax and like you were saying, like they offer maybe beverages and snacks and stuff like that. So you can also like go out and like have your little relaxation de-stressing corner just,
Yes.
somewhere else as well. Um so with all of that, like with all of the bringing in things to
Mhm.
organize, to personalize your desk or area, to like making that little de-stress corner. I think it can be so easy to, what's the word, like to hoard a lot of things. Like, you bring in
Yeah.
a ton of things and then you're like, next thing you know, you're like, "Oh my goodness, like, what did I do? I just brought, like, my whole entire home," especially if you have, like, a bigger work area.
Oh, no.
And let me tell you, as a teacher, oh my goodness, it's so stressful because I'm like, "I need to take all of these things," and, like, it's like moving into a whole new
Mhm.
place, and, we also cannot do that. So, for my 4th tip is don't clutter. Just don't clutter things, don't hoard things. So what I said is if you're starting off like a new job and a new workspace, just bring in the things that you need. So just the essentials. I think as the year goes by, you're going to start realizing what you actually need.
Mhm.
Oh shoot, I actually do need a hole puncher. Bring that in. Oh, you know what? I thought I didn't need a printer because the school has a printer, but turns out that the printer is always like being used and it doesn't print right sometimes, or last minute I can't
Mhm.
print. So maybe I do need a printer.
Yeah.
So start bringing in kind of the essentials. Look at what your job offers already. So if they already have a printer
Mhm.
that's available all the time, then just don't bring your own printer.
Yes.
But if you start noticing that you do need it, that it saves you some time, then bring it. So I think as like the time goes by, you'll figure out what you actually need, what you don't need.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then also you don't need, I put down here, you don't need different things of the same thing. So, and I am like
True.
preaching to myself right now because my first year teaching, I went all out and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I love these highlighters." Like I love anything that's stationary. And I'm like, "I love these highlighters." And now I have like 3 different types of highlighters, like packages of highlight
Yeah.
of the same colors. It's just literally this one's shorter, this one's longer. And, like, I don't need it, and now, like, I'm having to, like, what do I do with them? Because, I mean, it's good to have backups, I'm not saying it's not that's a bad thing. It's good to have backups, but I think until you're done with one, then you can buy another one, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't need to have, like, the same thing of different colors or, like, "I love this blanket, I'm gonna buy, like, 3 of them." Just wait until that one is done with, and then you can buy another one. So, that's a big one for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
I'm so big in not getting stuff, like, I'm not a hoarder a lot at all. I
Mhm.
mean, I am very minimal. Even in my house, I get so frustrated when my closet is full. And I know
Yeah,
that sounds weird, but I don't like seeing my closet full. And whenever I see it full, I'm like, it's time to get rid of stuff, Janet.
yeah.
My sister's like, you have an obsession. I'm like, no, I don't like, you know, I like minimal things. And
Mhm.
with everything I have, I just,
Yeah.
give stuff away. And if I'm gonna shop and buy new clothes, I give it away. I don't like seeing a lot of things in one space. I'm
Mhm.
always decluttering and
Yeah.
decluttering. I'm like obsessed with that. And in my job, it's the same way. So, like I said, I don't take a lot of stuff because I don't have where to put them. So, my place is very minimal. But one thing I want to say is that when our job gets so busy, like project behind project and behind project, it's very easy to for for my desk to be full of post-its. So like
Yes.
it's like all over, like it's crazy. And sometimes I have post-its that is like that job was done 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, Janet, come on. And so usually my days to do that is when I get like super early to my job,
Mhm.
or like Thursdays that I
Mhm.
that I have some space in the morning and I start like cleaning up,
Mhm.
this is done. I don't need this, this notes I already dealt with them, and I start throwing and cleaning things that I left there, or
Mhm.
um wraps of granola bars that are around or whatever.
Yeah.
And so so
All the
I
water
start just,
bottles.
yeah, I mean, things that just keep adding up during the week that you don't have time to just clean up because some other project came in. And so that is what I do to clean up, because I'm like, okay, this is a mess. I need to clean
Mhm.
up. I can't be working around this. And so I start just throwing away stuff, papers that are useless, throwing them out, and things that I'm still working on. Okay, this is the good space, and I shouldn't throw these because I still have work to do with them. So that's my decluttering, because
Mhm.
or also I have like a bunch of pens, and some pens don't even work. And I'm like, why do I have
Yeah.
these pens? And so
Mhm.
I'm like, bye bye, and throw them away, the pens. I'm like, okay, these are the good ones, and these are the ones that don't work. So, because sometimes I get a lot of people come into my office that we work with, a lot of people, a lot of pastors, and they need a pen, and I give them a pen, it doesn't work. I was like, why do I even have
No.
it? It's like,
Mhm.
no, and then you don't know which ones work and which ones don't. So
They're all
just,
mixed up. Yeah.
yeah, they're all mixed up. So throw them away. But yeah, that's what I do to
Yeah.
declutter.
And that's very important too. And what I wrote down was like declutter like maybe like mid-year, or like sometimes even like once at the beginning, one at the end, and like one
Mhm.
mid-year.
Yeah.
Or if like you have the time, again depending on how big your space is, or small, try to declutter, like, at the towards the end of the week,
Mhm.
kind of, like, do a little refresh for the next week to come. Some people
Yeah.
like to do it, like, if they're really gonna dive in deep and declutter for real big time, they do it maybe, like,
Mhm.
once a month or once every 6 months or something like that, if it's, like, moving furniture around, that kinda thing. So yeah, like, reassess. Do I really need these things? What can I get rid of? And with that, that's like the perfect segue to our last tip, which is sorry, not our last tip. We're barely on number 4. On number number 5, which is clean. Just clean your area.
Mhm.
Make sure that you're cleaning and that you're, like, deep cleaning as well, because I know some
Yes.
some schools have, like, janitors, some jobs may already have janitors that are picking up
Mhm.
the trash and stuff, or that are, like, mopping and sweeping, but not all schools, and I'm speaking for, the schools that, like, can't afford that,
Mhm.
or are not, like, maybe it's a huge school and they don't have, like, janitors who actually go and, like, have the time to deep clean, and so a
Yeah.
lot of times we're having to do that ourselves. Um,
Mhm.
so, like, even, like, just deep cleaning, and if you're working from home, deep clean your house. I mean, you're deep cleaning your house already, so it's kinda nice. It's like a two-in-one type of thing,
Yeah.
but, like, vacuum, wipe down areas, like, do all the things. A very good tip is become friends with the custodian or the janitor, because they will help you. They will help you move things around, or "Hey, like, can you really quickly help, like, mop here, something spilled and it's really
Mm.
sticky," or whatever. Um, if you have, like, work in a small cubicle, have a small desk, there's little, like, keyboard vacuums that I've seen that you can,
Yeah.
use, or there's those little sprays that you can just wipe down your
Mhm.
computer screen. Same, like, if you're using a lot of equipment, maybe like Janet, you use equipment, so, like, you're wanting to deep clean all your equipment. I
Mhm.
don't know how often you guys do that, but something like if you're deep cleaning as well, maybe beginning of the year, end of the year, mid-year, every month, or towards, like, the end of the week. Just for me, because I have a lot of kids in my classroom, like, towards the every Friday, we all take some time to deep clean and, like, wipe down all the areas. And for me, that's just how I stay clean, because and, like, getting into the habit of doing that as well, because if you let things accumulate, you let things get very dusty, allergies and all these, like, gross mold stuff can grow, and it's really hard to, like, deep clean after a very, very long time, so the earlier you
Yeah.
do, the better, obviously.
I mean, I don't know if this applies to it, but I've said this before, and I know I brag a lot about my job, but they're really nice. Let me just tell you, they're really nice. Um, in my job, anything you need, you ask for it, and they'll buy it for you, basically. And so they do invest, and it depends of your job.
Yeah.
There's people that do it, and there's people that don't. It depends, and every organization is
Mhm.
different depending on your job. But in my job, since our job is based mostly on sitting down, like I said,
Mhm.
and being editing or designing or stuff, they invest a lot in a good chair. So
Oh,
because it's an instrument, and it's something that we use to be
yeah.
successful in our job. So we have to be comfortable because we're long hours sitting down in front of a
Yeah.
computer. And so you choose the chair you want to choose. They send you a list
Wow.
of the stores, and they're like, don't even look at the price, just any chair you want to buy, just buy. And sometimes I'm
Oh,
like, I can't
wow.
believe I'm buying this. It's a lot
Yeah.
of money. And I sometimes complain to them, I'm like, no, but it's a lot of money. It's like, yes, but just remember how many hours you are working in this
Yeah.
place.
It's an investment.
It's an investment. and
Mhm.
and, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And so make sure you get a comfortable chair, something you're going to be, like, because this is going to be like your chair. And so
Yeah.
I had never thought about that it's so important to be comfortable in your space, in your area. Even
Mhm.
some people in my job, I'm telling you, it's our second home. They take a separate pair of shoes, so they have their
Yeah.
flip-flops, or their, like, and while they're in their
Mhm.
office, of course we're not allowed to be outside, like, with,
Yeah.
with slippers or anything, right? But just like you said, it's important for you to be comfortable. It's important for you to be, because we spend a lot of time, a lot of hours in this place. And so it's important to just be comfortable. And so anything that we need, they supply it.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so they say, "Oh, I need this, I need this to be more comfortable." And they like, you say it, okay, we'll order it.
Wow.
And so that's pretty awesome. Another thing that we have in our office, and I don't know if every place has, that your boss or your job could supply it, but it's been very helpful. It's air purifiers. So we have an air
Yes.
purifier in our office,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's why it's been helping us not to get as sick. And I mean, we have like we're two people, and so obviously, like we come from different places outside, so many
Yeah.
things that happen, but I
Mhm.
always feel like the air is very clean. There's nothing that could get us sick or anything. So I think another thing that a good investment is an air purifier.
That's good. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
thank you for sharing that. You
Mhm.
said something that stuck with me. That's like bringing in like your own pair of shoes. And
Mhm.
like that's one of the like kind of extra tips that I have on here is like always bring an extra pair of like just an outfit change. Just bring an outfit change, because you never know, you can spill something. Last
Oh
time
yeah.
I accidentally spilled some stuff on my,
Happens to me all the time.
and I was like, "Oh no!" But I have, because I do work like 40 minutes, almost an hour away.
Mm.
I always keep like a little backpack in my car because I never know. Like I never know like if I need to stay over at somebody's place or like just I don't know,
Yeah.
like if I need to do an activity right after school, I just want to make sure that I'm prepared for that as well.
You
So
never know what could happen.
never know.
In a job setting, especially in school,
Yeah.
when you deal with so many kids, anything can happen. Like for me,
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I don't take extra close to my job. Okay,
Mhm.
I live pretty close. I live like 15 minutes away, but I should do that. I should do that. I should bring like something extra because I laugh because I think it was not a long time ago that I took some delicious mole
Oh.
for lunch. It's amazing, but man, when you stain that, it's the
Mm-mm.
worst.
Yeah.
It
It
won't
won't.
come off. No,
Mhm.
it won't.
Nope.
But something that happened while I was working at the print shop over there, that is kind of funny. It's kind of something funny, but
Mhm.
if you work for the church, you have a lot of hats. There's just not one. You do multiple things,
Mhm.
and just get one paycheck. But that's how it is,
Yeah.
that's how it happens. But my boss, he was my boss, but he also did several other things of maintenance and other
Mhm.
things to take care of. And sometimes, you have to be outside and lifting and cleaning and doing all these things. And so he went by. We have a really close relationship, and this was my last boss, not my current boss.
Okay.
But he came in with some other pants, and I was like, "What happened?" And then he's like, "Well, guess what? You're gonna laugh at me." And I was like, "No, well, I was outside lifting this box that came in." He's like, "Well, my pants tore in half." Like,
Oh, what?
yes. And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Yeah, luckily I have these pants on my car." So I grabbed them and went to change. Like literally
Wow.
right, it was so obvious. If you saw me, you would see I have some tore pants. And he's like, "No." I'm so glad he brought an extra pair
Yeah. And
because
that's like mhm.
he's like, "I always carry an extra pair of pants."
Mhm.
Like, because you never know. And so there you go. That was like a short story of my boss. You
Yeah.
never know what can happen. So carry an extra
You don't know
pair.
about that. That's crazy. So yeah, so bring extra clothes if you can.
Yes.
If like I'm commuting between 2 different schools, and so I always have to just keep it in my car. I can't keep it in
Yeah.
one area.
Hmm.
So I just keep a little backpack in my car. Really quickly, going to our very, very last tip,
Now
and
for sure, last.
no, this is the for sure. This is the last one. There's like so many tips in
No, yeah.
embedded into all of this, but that's
Yes.
good because you have your notebook and your pen, I'm hoping. Um, is rearrange.
Oh,
Rearranging actually helps with your
yes.
motivation, and I think you mentioned this, Janet,
Mhm.
previously. But yeah, rearranging your space, your area. I rearrange in my apartment all the time.
Yeah.
Just this morning, I was rearranging my kitchen stuff just because I was getting bored. I was like, I feel like it's not functional anymore. Like, I don't feel like I have my utensils where I need them to be, and so, like, I
Mhm.
rearranged the whole thing, and I, like, spent an hour or so, but that, like, motivated me a little bit more to start cooking in my kitchen as well, and so,
Mhm.
in your new workspace or in your current workspace, maybe you've had the same setup for, like, 20 plus years, and you realize that it's not very functional, it's
Not working.
not motivating you.
Yes.
So maybe it's time to have a little glow up moment
Yes.
and change it up a little bit. And so rearranging things every once in a while, and it doesn't have to be anything like super major either. It doesn't have to be like, oh, like I'm changing up like a whole bunch of things and adding a
Mhm.
whole bunch of things because maybe you have like a small workspace, like Janet was saying. So
Mm.
maybe just bringing in small little things, like a small little plant, maybe a small, I don't know, like change up like your routine as well, if you need to, like going into like setting up your things, or maybe you usually have lunch at your desk and now it's like, now I want to have lunch with my friends.
Mhm.
Or in like a cafeteria area where you get to eat, or if you work from home, maybe like go into like a coffee shop or something and have that be your motivation, and like go 3 times a week or something like that, or 2 times a week or once a week, whatever you want to be. But just
Yeah.
kind of change up, rearrange either your routine or your space. And again, if you don't have if you have a small workspace, maybe go into like do your work somewhere else that's not on your desk sometimes, or something like that. And so with that, I have a couple of more like extra little tips, and I'm just going to quickly name them and then we can talk about them.
Mhm.
Something that Janet said was like being respectful. If you do share with, if you share your space with somebody else, be respectful of their likes and dislikes. What we do in school is we have sometimes like a what's it called? Like contracts. And so like
Mhm.
a room sharing contract. And so we talk about the things that we want to do, what things we want to bring in, what supplies we can use for our students, that kind of stuff. So that's very helpful. So that's one. Light brightens up the mood, or like invest in a lamp. So my other room did not have any sort of windows or lighting whatsoever. So maybe like buy a lamp or something that has different moods or different lighting. Make it very moody in there.
Mhm.
Don't leave things out in the open that are important to you, or just lock up things that are important, especially if you're going to be sharing a space with somebody else. So for teachers, we always have like a file drawer or like a cabinet with the key and stuff, just in case like they always use our classrooms for something, whether it's like a club
Oh,
meeting
okay.
or if it's like you're not there and like the substitute is there.
Yeah.
They're always coming into our classroom, and so obviously you don't want your things to be exposed and out, or if you leave like a change of clothes, you don't want people to like steal your clothes or something like that. So just
Yes.
like have a place where you can lock up those things. Um, what else? If I put down here, if another people uses your space, make sure that the rules are very clear. So maybe post a sign or something. Again, we like there's always people using our classrooms and stuff.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
maybe like put up a sign or something like, hey, like if you're going to be using my classroom, like welcome to my classroom, but also make sure that you respect this, or like make sure that this, if you're going to use this, make sure it goes back to where it is. It's sometimes like very obvious that people are going to respect your area, but a lot of times they don't.
Mm.
And so I don't know, like
Yeah.
even at work, maybe somebody needs to use that, your desk because you weren't there that day and somebody needed your desk space for whatever reason. Um, then just like have a little sign or something, like just, make sure to leave things back where they were or something like that. But that also starts with respecting other people's space. So if you do like require other people to leave things the way they were with your stuff, make sure that if you're going to somebody else's classroom, office, I don't know, area, then make sure that you are being respectful towards their things as well. So
Yes.
those are kind of like some little extra tips.
I I I wanted to comment on what you were saying. Those of us that I know after COVID, a lot of people work from home.
Yeah.
Um, and I could deal working from home like for I want to say a week, but more than that, I can. I'll go crazy.
Same.
I like working and seeing people and talking to people and just like that. But this last week, I had the experience of working from home because I didn't have another option. Our offices got flooded.
Ooh.
And so all our office was just, you could not work there. It was full of water. We just went and disconnected some machines and computers, and that's it. And we went home. So while that was getting taken care of, we worked all week at our home. And the first couple of days, I want to say the first 3 days, it was nice,
Mhm,
and I even told Evelyn, I liked because I was able to work on the podcast and
mhm,
take care of things, and it was nice because obviously at the office you have to be wearing headphones all the time, making sure like you don't disturb anybody, and but
wow,
when you're at home you're more comfortable because
mhm,
it's just you. And so the first 3 days I was happy. I was, I have a desk, I have, my working area, and I'm good because I use it for the podcast.
wow,
But after the third day, it started feeling like a little dragging and a little like,
mm,
I need something else. This is not making the cut. I just don't feel something's off. And so what
mhm,
I did is, even though this is my workspace, even though this is my desk, and it's usually where I work at, I was like, let me change it up a little bit,
yeah,
because I have a laptop, so I could work from anywhere.
true,
So I moved my stuff to my living room, and my living room is a place where there's a lot of windows. So there's a lot of
mhm,
sunlight and a lot of, you could see outside, and I don't know, it's different. Like the whole setting is different. And
mhm,
so I moved my stuff there. I started
mhm,
working there, and like it changed the whole thing. It motivated me. It
yeah,
just woke me up and just made me feel like better. And
mhm,
I was able to work like just in a better way. So if you're working from home, don't be married to a desk. You could,
mhm,
you if you have a laptop, which hopefully you do, or even if you have an iPad, sometimes you could work from an iPad as well. Try moving around to different places. If you have also an outside setting that you could be
mhm,
at, that's also perfect to work at. And I think it also, it's good to just, because I know working from home, it could be a very lonely job, and it's just you, and it's like something's dragging. But whenever you move and you see other things and you experience other sounds and smells and environment, I
yeah,
think it helps you a little bit more. So even though it was just a week, I am ready to go back to the office.
yeah,
I was able to experience what is a little bit of when it comes to working from home, and that's what I did. So if this tip helps anybody out, it helped me.
yeah. It's true, like, working from home is a whole different
Oh my, yeah.
story, but what I've always heard is, like, don't work from bed, don't ever, like,
Oh
take your
no.
computer from bed to bed because that is gonna put you in the mindset like, you won't be able to go to sleep at night because you're like, "This is, like, my
Wow.
workspace."
Yeah.
So, very interesting, but anyways, these are some of the tips that we have for you guys for your new work space or area.
Mhm.
You don't have to be fresh out of college into your first job to put in practice these tips.
No.
You can just do them and see how it changes up your motivation. Um,
Mhm.
and so I do them all the time. These are the things that work for me. Of course, if there's something else that works for you, you can let us know so we can also try it out. Either on
Yes.
Instagram, comment, DM us, or on the YouTube channel, leave a comment there as well. So, anyways, this has been your new workspace.
Yes, yes, and
Um,
even if it's not new, change things up. I also wanted to comment that I always change and my mom always is like, "Oh my goodness, Janet, you can't keep still. Come on, like take a break or chill out."
yeah.
Because I always rearrange my room and
Mhm.
also the living room, because
Mhm.
those are the most two spaces that I'm at usually. And so I want to say every 6 months I rearrange. So I recently rearranged my room and and it just helps me, it just gives you like you're coming in a different room, a different house, and
Yeah.
it just helps you out. I would do the same thing in my office, but I can't because,
Mhm.
but if you can do it, do it. Change it up a little bit. Even if you think it's not going to work, try it out and see how you feel. Maybe you have a window in your room. How about put your desk next to a window, and
Yeah.
while you work, take a look outside if that helps you. And if that doesn't help you, we're talking about the lamps. So
Mhm.
for a while we did that at work and we talked about respect, and my coworker was like, what do you think if we, just have the lamp and shut off the lights, and so our eyes won't be so strained with the light of the computer? And so like, let's try it out, fine, I'm good with it. And we started trying that out, and the vibe was different. It was really cool,
Mhm.
just us. It felt like you're camping or something because
Yeah.
it was really nice. And I'm gonna suggest that again in winter. I think that's gonna be
That's
really
awesome.
nice. It's gonna be really nice. So just, things like that. Don't be afraid of change.
Yes.
Because you never know if it's gonna work out or not. And if it doesn't, just rearrange back how it was, because
Yep.
spaces are different. Like my room is not very big. So I can't do a lot of changes, but the small changes that I do help me out to just feel like, oh, my room.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel different. And so thank you. Thank you, Evelyn, for all that info. We will make sure and put that out for you, as well, if you found one of these tips very useful or you want to apply it. But please, I think in the last podcast we forgot because we're so used to audio, but now we're new in that YouTube channel. We're starting slowly but surely to put
Mhm.
content out there. But please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the follow button, and
The
like
subscribe
comment the
button.
subscribe button there.
Mhm.
It's very important to do that, and share. Now you could share. Anybody has access to YouTube. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to pay for anything.
Mhm.
Just go ahead and share it. I know some people are like, Spotify, I don't have space in my phone. I can't download another app. And I'm like, okay, well, there's YouTube. You could
Yeah.
press the link, and you'll be able to hear us. So
Mhm.
just make sure to do that. But as well, we are still putting our audio in our podcast audio and Spotify, and also in the Apple podcast. And the Apple podcast, it's already on your iPhone if you have an iPhone, so you don't have
Mhm.
to download anything. Just click there and follow us there, and our Instagram. If you're already in there, good job.
Mhm. Yeah.
Good job. But if you're not, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So go in there and follow us. Make sure to follow us because we have new series coming up. And
Yeah.
so we're not going to say anything here because we want you to go into Instagram and find out what our next series is going to be about. We still have a couple of more coming up in the Adulting 101 series, but get ready because this one is going to be
Mhm.
good.
Yeah,
It's going to
so
be good.
as we end out our Adulting 101 series, we have one more coming out, another series coming out. And through while that is coming out as well, we have devotionals coming out. So if you don't want to listen, to
Yes.
15 minutes of very useful tips, then you can also check out our devotionals that we do. So they're a lot shorter and you can listen to them wherever they're either on YouTube or Spotify and Apple podcasts, like Janet said.
Yes. And also on Instagram because we have some reels there.
Yes.
So if you want something even shorter, we have that for you. There's so many options. Come on.
Yes, a minute and 30 seconds.
Yes, I mean, how shorter can you want something, like so they're short and precise. So if you don't have a lot of time in your hands, there you go. Just go into Instagram and we're gonna be posting all of that. All of that. We have another podcast coming up. I'm not gonna say a date, but I just want everybody to just be aware that after this podcast comes out, we are having another one, which is establishing habits. That's a very good podcast with my good friend Jaciel Ordóñez. Also, another nurse. Sorry, a lot of my friends are nurses, but she is connecting from Panama, not like Panama, like city, like within the states. No, like Panama, the country. So, she's gonna connect through there and give us her points of view, what she has done to establish a good, healthy habits. And so you don't wanna miss that. And we will promote there in the Instagram, and you'll find out when this is gonna come out. But it's coming out very soon.
Yes. So stay tuned because we have a lot of guest speakers coming up as well, and we're very excited.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's it. And
that's it.
Enjoyed it.
Yes. Bye. Welcome to It's a Diaz. What happened?
I said it too. I said,
wow. Okay, let's do one again.
And that's awesome that you get to share.
Yes, it's pros and cons.